So welcome. Your game just launched a couple of days ago on Kickstarter.
Exactly.
I hope it's doing very well. And today we're going to do a short Q&A about board game publishing.
Yes.
Because you are publishing your very first game. So how excited are you?
On a scale from 1 to 10, 11, I think.
Okay, yeah. So it's finally launched, but how long have you been working on this game?
So Carlo, the designer, worked on the game already 2 years before he approached us. Mm-hmm. And then we worked on it still another year. We were at fairs and always testing. We tested without artwork so that you can just focus on the gameplay. Mm-hmm. Then we tested different artwork styles and kept going back and forth. We even had a little tournament where new players could learn that game on that day and play. And actually, Wolfgang Warsch won the tournament because he knew the game already. Mm-hmm. He played it already.
Okay, cool. So if you look at like the first prototype you got from Carlo and what the game is today, how much did it change over time?
It changed quite a bit. We were exploring different spaces as you might see in the how to play. We have the different numbers, the different life point values, and we started way lower in the beginning. We had little numbers, and then we discovered that this is a too narrow space for different abilities, because you can just, if you increase the damage by 1, this is already so much that we did some rebalancing there, but also of course with the abilities. The abilities should be easy to understand, easy to get into and play, but feel very different from each of the different guilds, that you have a unique feeling and no repetition. Yeah, so you have cards that can move, cards that can fly, very heavy hitters, very how do you say, not strong cards that have other benefit. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Carlo approached your company with the game. You didn't approach him, so to say.
Exactly. Carlo came to us. We already worked in our previous career with Carlo together, mm-hmm. and we know him very well, and he's a good friend. And it was the best possible scenario, because Julian, who is the other half of One More Time Games, mm-hmm. he and we met over 20 years ago in school playing Magic.
Oh wow, really?
Yes, and this is so to say our take on collectible games, but we have no collectible element. It's just everything in the box, but it should give you a similar feel that we had, and we hope that we can also create a lot of long-lasting friendships like ours with Driftforce.
Yeah, that sounds cool. So you chose a game that is something you would also like to play yourself. Do you think that's a quality you need to have in every game you're probably going to publish?
Definitely, yes, because now I'm at least at 400 plus games, and I'm still happy if someone asks me, do you want to show me the game? Yes, of course. Okay. Not only because it's our first game, but I really enjoy it, and there are still things that I can try, and these synergies that come up with the drafting in the beginning of the different guilds is still keeping. That's also the company name, One More Time. You should play it one more time, and that's also one of the creeds that we take ourselves and take that as a mission statement. That's what we want to have in our games. Yeah. They should all be very streamlined, very easy to get into, because, as you know, the two hurdles are long rules and long playtime. So we want to have easy to get into games, but then with a depth that keeps you coming back. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you mentioned you have a former career in board game publishing.
Yes.
So how do you choose to start your own company? Is that like, how long did it take to make that step?
Yes, it was a very scary step on one hand, but I'm so glad that we took the step. I was working in board games from 2015 on, and Julian even longer than that. And we are both in our 30s now, and we said, okay, either we keep on working for other companies, or we try to do our own vision of what should be a modern board game. And yeah, we jumped into the cold water.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, it was the best is that we are two of us. That's you can have the happy moments, share the happy moments, but also the burdens of this endeavor. Yeah.
Yes. So you just said that you can also sort of shape board games. Is that like something that's a big advantage, that you can publish your own games now? You can sort of hopefully have an impact on the gaming hobby in general?
Yes.
So what is something that you think is very important in games that might be missing at the moment at some games or companies?
Yeah, for our games, it's very important that we are very inclusive. That is with color vision deficiency, that we make sure that people, even with color vision deficiency, can see the cards very well and distinguish the cards very well, but also in the depiction, what kind of characters I can play in the game, because I don't always want to play a white male muscular hero. And we wanted to be a little bit more diverse in the artwork, and hopefully create something where everyone can find a character to which they can relate, or which they just want to play because they find them very nice. Yeah,
I'm always very happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I also see that the games are suitable for left-handed people.
Exactly, that was also a big part. It's even some right-handed people approached me and said like, oh, but I hold the cards in the other way, and I was like, oh yeah, of course, let's think about that and include that in the design. Exactly.
Yes, what also a fun detail is, I'm not quite sure if you can see it very well on camera, but you have this tracking
score track for the Rift Force, and some of them come up when playtesting. It's always something that the user interface, you could say, also of the board game, that you are optimizing with the numbers. How big are they? How far apart do they need to be, so that it's not read as a double number? So it's not a 55, but it's clearly just a 5. Stuff like that. We always test it with internal test groups, but also on public events like board game nights, and also on fairs, so that we can always recheck these ideas. A lot of them are just from experience and what's important to us. But we want to make an easy entry, because everything that is somehow distracting from the game, that's not good. You want to dive into the game and really experience it. So
okay.
Yeah.
So this is your first game that's launching. Do you already have more games in your backlog that are waiting for production and play testing? Okay.
Yes, cool. Exactly. We have a few games in our package. We have to see which one we will line up next. We are also thinking about possible expansions for Rift Force, of course, and there are some we have a wish list for some games that we want to do. We want to have streamlined experiences of some so-called nerd games. Okay. So we would really like to do a streamlined dungeon crawler where you can easily enter, play in 1.5 hours, have this feeling, but not in a long board game night. And 4X games is also one of these. We always call them like the holy grails of board gaming. And we want to make them accessible, because we think a lot of people could have fun with that. But of course, I also don't have 4 hours anymore to just learn 1 hour and then play 4 hours. This is very hardly done. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and because Rift Force, you approach Carlo with new games. Do do you also approach designers, or do you also have designers approaching you and you're going to be like, oh, this is a really great idea, let's go with it?
Yeah, it's both. We are always on the lookout for games, and we are happy if people approach us. You can always write us an email at hello@onemoretimegames.com, with a one, written with a one.
Yes.
But of course, we are also approaching designers. We are lucky that we can test in Vienna with Wolfgang Wasch and Alexander Pfister. They're at our weekly game test table.
And those are pretty big names,
Yes.
if you don't know them by name, but they have some pretty well-known, larger games.
Yes,
It's pretty awesome.
and we also like to work with new first-time designers and keep on helping them along the way and play ping pong. And just sometimes, even if the game is not for us, we can just like give our feedback and say, okay, maybe we know someone who would like that game. Yeah.
Cool. Are there any things you would like people to know about board game publishing? Are there misunderstandings that you're like, that's something I frequently hear, or is it not that bad?
Yes, our job is not just playing games, I have to say. It's very different every day. That's what I love about the job. And for example, the last days were spent in this pre-production copy by just punching out the tokens. That was taking up whole days. So what you need to know is it's not always easy. You, of course, run into frustrations, and sometimes you're not able, it's not in your area that you can control. It's something happening at the printer, it's something happening at the shipping company, and of course we do our best, but when it leaves our sphere of influence, then you just have to hope that everything is working as planned. But it's the dream come true for me. So
Cool.
all
So
this,
what's the absolute best part of the job?
The best part of the job for me is that I can sit down with players, explain the game, and then see that they have fun when they play the game that I worked on. Then suddenly all the night shifts and over hours doesn't matter anymore. If I say that people have fun playing that and that they enjoy the game and laugh, that's the best for me.
And that's really great here. Of course, we're also into making people happy with their games.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for coming by today and doing this little interview. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yes.
And if you don't know it yet, the game is on Kickstarter right now, so hop on to the Kickstarter and take a look at the game. Yes.
See you there.
Yes, bye.
Bye.